All right, and we're live. Welcome to SampleServe Masterclass Wednesdays. Thank you for joining with us today. I'm Joshua Paul. I'm the marketing director and product manager for SampleServe, and we have with us Russell Schindler, as usual, founder and CEO of SampleServe. Say hi, Russell.
Hello. How's everyone?
Russell's got 35 years, probably way more than that by now, right? Experience in environmental professional, and he's been a successful leader in many environmental businesses. So what we have here today is our Masterclass Wednesdays. We like to bring on experts from the field. We talk about industry news, and we like to introduce new features and functionality for our SampleServe environmental app. So today we're talking about Sample ENV. And what is SampleServe? We make digital products for environmental professionals, all the way from project planning to the field data collection to the laboratories, and then on to report graphics production. So we're going to talk about some roadmap stuff here today. We're going to talk about some future, some kind of the stuff that we've been working on for the last couple months, and some stuff that you're going to start seeing here, and probably either in the next few weeks or months, depending on which stuff we're talking about.
Even days. Yeah.
Could be days. Yeah. Some of it's really close, actually. Yeah. So the first thing I'd like to talk about today is, and don't forget, if you have a question or anything, put it in the chat. And if you'd like to share this, if you think this is relevant to anybody that you'd know, these links stay the same. These videos are always live on these same links. So give this link a share to somebody as well. And make sure you like it too. And we'll get to the question whenever we see one pop up. So first off, we're going to talk about equipment rental marketplace built into the project management tool on SampleServe. So Russell, this is kind of something we've been planning for a while, and we're as we get bigger and more kind of relevant in the industry, more equipment rental companies are kind of asking to be on our program or on our platform. So explain how this functionality works for us.
So we have a project planning tool for our, in our platform that when you set up your project, you're going to enter in all your project details, and then you're going to schedule a sampling event, right? You're going to go out and do some sampling in a week or two. Well, we know everything about that scope of work. We know exactly how deep your wells are, what type of sampling you're going to do, because you're going to input all that stuff. So if you're doing low flow, then we know that you're going to probably need some tubing. If you're just sampling for dissolved metals, you might need a field filter. You're going to need a water quality meter. You're going to need a pump. And so we have the ability, we will, as soon as we finish building this out, to order that equipment for you from your favorite rental supply company. So, you'll just be able to go, yes, it'll calculate all your materials that you need based on what you set up as your scope of work. You're going to indicate whether you want a, water quality meter, maybe a particular brand or particular type, and you'll be able to just, confirm that order is correct, and it'll place the order for you right from the platform. The rental supply company will send you a confirmation that they've received it, with all your tracking numbers and all that stuff. So it'll be just really simple for you to kind of do all that stuff right from one platform, and without having to, go to a different app or a different platform in order to place those orders. So just kind of all be tied together.
Yeah, and this way, the equipment, all the supplies and equipment that you're going to need for that event is kind of tied in directly with planning in the same process. You're going to be doing everything at the same time, as opposed to you're going to maybe do some plan in the old-fashioned way. Maybe you're going to work out your work scope on this day, and then maybe on the next day you're going to have to figure out all the equipment. And then maybe on the next day, you forget to figure out the equipment, and then you forget to order it, so it just makes it more streamlined.
Yeah, and so what you can do, and this is what, kind of our vision and what people do right now, is if they're doing quarterly sampling, right, typically the sampling is going to be the same every quarter. Sometimes there's some subtle variations, and you can make those adjustments as well. But you're going to set up that first event, pick your rental supply company and their materials and all that. And now you can just copy that, right? So you can copy that for the rest of the quarters or for the rest of your sampling. And then it will remind you, like, you've got an event coming up. you know, 2 weeks from now, you want to place that order, and you just simply go, yes, I do. Or maybe you make some changes to the order because you've modified the scope of work. But you'll be able to do that right there, and then just one click ordering. Everything's ordered for you. You get all the confirmations. It arrives on time when you need it. And so it's just going to really make being a project manager a lot simpler.
Yeah. Yeah. It kind of reminds me of like, if you're ordering on different websites, let's say like if you're on like Amazon or something like that, when I'm ordering stuff on Amazon, it'll give me things that pop up that say like users also bought, you know, like if I'm buying like maybe like a camera or something, you know, users also bought, and it'll pop up like a tripod and a case and stuff like that. So it's going to be similar to that functionality where like we know kind of the situation that you're in already. So we're going to suggest, you know, maybe, hey, don't forget that you need gloves. Don't forget that you need tubing, like stuff, you know, make sure that you have everything, all your check boxes checked. And make it nice and easy.
Yeah, we've got some contracts in place for, you know, these companies you see right there for you know, placing those orders. So so we're actually, you know, we're hoping to have that all completed and rolled out so you can start simplifying your own job probably by the mid to the end of summer.
Yeah. And the goal is, you know, eventually this is just one of the additions that we want to have the SampleServe platform be like your one-stop shop where you can get everything done that you need, you know, regardless, you know, you connect to your laboratory and communicate with your laboratory, communicate with all your field techs, order your supplies, you know, do your reports, you know, everything, one-stop shop, one hub. All right, let's move on to this is another big improvement that we're adding, and that's soil vapor sampling. You can do soil vapor sampling right now, but it's not necessarily customized specifically for soil vapor. So there's like some workarounds that you have to do. But in the coming weeks, we're going to have a full-fledged soil vapor sampling workflow set up for users.
Yeah.
Russell, explain how this started for us.
Yeah. So soil vapor sampling has some unique requirements in the terms of like when you, you know, typically on a low flow sampling or a graph sample, you just have one time stamp, right? With soil vapor, you're going to have a start and a stop with a time period. And so those are, you know, they don't seem like big changes, but, you know, from a software perspective, it does require some customization. So when you pick, you're going to do soil vapor sampling, it's now going to have those custom fields that you'll be able to fill out on the app. Those will be printed on the labels when you hit the start time. And then when you hit the stop time, it's going to then print those start stop times right on the label for you. So just subtle things like that, the different types of sampling methods, you know, there's Summa canisters, these little carbon cartridges that you can put in there as well. So whatever particular sampling method you're using, you'll be able to customize that as well. So, but it's really, we're essentially creating a unique media for soil vapor sampling that's going to have all the needs that you're going to require for soil vapor sampling. So
yeah, because they do require like specialized labels, you know, and we're making so that our labels match the regular labels that are coming out that are usually attached to these canisters or the cartridges, so that you don't have to add anything, you don't have to write anything down on the labels.
Yeah, you just peel off the little sticker and place it on the thing. I have all the information.
And also we're, you know, matching the regular chain of custody so that because there, you know, there are some things on there that usually aren't included on other chain of custodies. So everything will be digitized. You shouldn't have to write down a single thing for this process, and it should be nice and easy for users.
Right.
And we're
soil vapor sampling is coming more and more required across the country. So, you know, that's one of the advantages of SampleServe is we work all over the world. And so we can learn from the, you know, states like Michigan, where soil vapor sampling has been a big requirement for a long time. And then we've got other states where it's just now becoming a regulatory requirement. So,
it's going to be normalized to be, if you're not doing soil vapor, I think it's going to be looked frowned upon, because that's going to be the, you know, the basic sampling method for a lot of industry nowadays.
Yeah, and it is a big exposure pathway as well. So
right. And the next one up, this one's actually, probably I'd say the coolest thing for field techs that we got coming up, right,
Yeah.
Russell? This is
Yes.
going to be a game changer in the field. Now,
So
back in the day, we
Go ahead.
did work with In Situ because In Situ does have an app that you can read the readings on the In Situ app, and then right now people were, you would use the app and then you would go back to SampleServe and enter the data that's coming from the In Situ app. Now we've been working for a while and said, how about let's skip the In Situ app and let's just have the data go directly from the water quality meter directly into the SampleServe app while you're low flow sampling.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be easy? So that's what we've been working on, and it's ready for testing right now. We're testing it out in the field, making sure everything works, and this should be out pretty soon. So Russell, explain how this process is going to work for users in the field.
So we've had a long relationship with In Situ. I'm going back 10 years, right? When they rolled out their View Situ app, we were actually one of the early adopters of using that app and help them kind of customize the user interface and, talk to them about how low flow sampling works. And so I've had a long relationship with these guys. They've even flown out to Michigan here and went to sites while we were sampling. Met some in other states as well. Another time we met in Wyoming on a big project we were doing. But so we've really helped them kind of build their app, not in terms of writing the code, but in terms of the user interface, the user experience. And we kind of did all that kind of thinking forward that we're going to have our own app one day that's going to be, meter agnostic. We're going to work with other meter companies as well. But so we're now be able to pull the data off of their device and enter it in. If you're doing low flow sampling, you're going to set up your parameters like you would, the frequency and which parameters you're going to be collecting for. And it's going to fill that data in automatically. So it's going to make doing field work a lot simpler. So you're not having to type the data in all the time. And theoretically, kind of the panacea of what it could be is where you could get a system set up, a pump and a meter and everything going, hit the start button, it's going to start reading the readings. And once your groundwater level is stabilized according to your pumping rate, you can actually go to another location and set up another set of equipment and potentially be sampling 2 monitoring wells doing low flow sampling at the same time. So it's going to require somebody that kind of is very organized and coordinated. But then, that's kind of the theory, is that you'll be able to really increase your efficiency. At minimum, you'll be able to at least go ahead and, get the next well opened up and, ready to go, even if you are just using one set of equipment. So that kind of automation, being able to pull that data out, and there's audible alarms, every time it's going to take a new reading, it's going to give you an alarm. And then when you're stable, based on a US EPA protocol, it's going to give you a different alarm, a little louder, a little longer, so that you'll know, like, hey, that's ready to sample. So it'll continue to operate and record data until you go over there and hit the sample button, and it's going to do a timestamp and, record all that data. And then it's all documented for you too. So that's one of the nice things about our application. It has all the photographs and all the GPS coordinates, their pumping rates, all that stuff right there, pre-printed as a PDF for a field data form. And then you can also take that raw data and, drop that into a CSV file and use it for other purposes if you wanted to.
Right. Yeah. The nice thing would be less, transcription errors from reading what your meter is saying and then having to manually enter that.
And our plan is to do the same thing for other meter companies. We've already got an agreement with a meter company called AquaRead. They're actually out of the United Kingdom. And so that'll be the next one that we're going to be integrating with. And we'd love to work with YSI and, Eureka and the other companies out there that the requirement would be that they have Bluetooth connectivity to their meter, and not all of them do right now. So
you got to be able to connect. The next thing that we're really excited about as well is state database exporting. So right now we're working with companies in Minnesota and the state of Washington, and both of those states right now have a mandatory database that consultants have to submit their data digitally to. Minnesota just started theirs back in November, I think, and the state of Washington's had a system in place for a while. We're currently implementing MPCA data export and EIM export to Washington, and these are both in beta stages right now. We're just making sure that all the data is correctly being output, but this should be coming out soon. So any user in the state of Washington or the Minnesota can, with a click of a button, export all your data from the SampleServe platform and then be able to just send that on to the state.
Right out to the state's database, which is a big time saver. And it's a, when you're typing in a ton of data like that to a state database, and they don't normally make it very efficient, especially in Minnesota. Not knocking Minnesota, but it's a kind of very inefficient method that they have for exporting that data to their database. And what we've done is just made it so that it's just really simple. We're going to give you the proper format and be able to export directly to the state, and all the hassles and headaches that you've gone through if you've done this in those states, all that goes away. It's just a real simple process. So
yeah, because the previous method for a lot of firms, it requires a lot of duplicate work, a lot of data entry, repeat data entry, that's already been entered somewhere else in their own personal databases, their own company-wide databases. They would oftentimes grab that information and then transfer it over to something else in order to give it to the state. And this way, if you're using SampleServe, you can just click one button and have all of that generated and ready to go in a package that you can send to the state immediately afterwards. So it's a huge time saver.
And as other states roll out similar requirements, because I do believe that, fast forward,
it's going to be common.
5 years down the road, every state's going to want to do the same thing. Our plan is to kind of do the same thing in any other state that requires it. And one thing that we have failed to mention is that all the stuff that we've talked about here is actually at no cost. It's absolutely free for users. So
anything that involves
data collection,
collection, planning, anything that involves the labs, that's what we're going to talk about right now. All of that stuff is offered free. The only time you pay is if you're using the reporting functionality. And most users do use the reporting functionality, but it's very cost effective when it comes to what you were doing before. Guarantee that.
Yeah. We're not talking free trial. This is free forever. So.
Yeah. And we got 3 more things left. So we got lab branded sampling apps. So Russell, we're rolling out any laboratory that wants their own sampling app. I know there's a lot of laboratories that are looking for digital tools to offer their clients to their product line, and SampleServe is the easiest way by far. All you have to do is say, hey, we'd like a sampling app, and within a short amount of time, they'll have a sampling app branded to their labs.
Yeah.
Russell, you got anything to add?
So what we do is essentially take our branded app and make a duplicate of it. They can put their logo on it, pick their colors. It's the database is demarcated, so just their lab's data is available to them and not to any other labs. So you can use their app to submit samples to their lab, and that's kind of the plan going forward, is that if a lab wants to have an app for streamlining their sample data entry and all that, it's going to make that lab a lot more efficient, and they'll have an application they can offer to their customers that makes their sample collection a lot more efficient. And again, no cost. One of the requirements that we're putting on the labs, if they do use our branded, or we brand the app for them, is that they have to give it away for free. Like, we're not going to let them have an app and then they charge for it. So that's one of the requirements in our contract, is they got to give it away for free. And so you'll start seeing labs coming out with their own apps. Just kind of know that it's based on the foundation of what SampleServe is, and they'll be able to use it and be able to submit samples to those labs.
Yeah, it might look oddly similar to our app. And then we want to cover event level forms again, because this is kind of still a newer feature that we rolled out a few months ago.
Yeah.
And some of our users have taken great use to it. But we'd like to remind current users that, hey, these event level forms are very helpful when, especially for checklists, safety meetings, tailgate meetings beforehand, anything that covers, we want to collect data that involves an entire sampling event. They're very important and easy to deal with, easy to export. And I think,
yes. So there's two types of forms. One is like on a sample location, like you got a particular well and you want to do a checklist to see if that well needs any improvements to it. Maybe the well's lid bulb's cracked, or it's now become a trip hazard and needs to be reset. So you'll be able to do a well inspection checklist. That's for each location, each sample location. But you can also do an event level form, where you do that tailgate safety meeting. Maybe you do a pre-mobilization checklist, or maybe you got a remediation system there and you want to record pressures and flow rates. You'll be able to create a form for that. And as you're sampling, you can go finish the checklist on the remediation system. So those types of forms are available. And again, they're all included at no cost.
Yeah. And to finish it up, we just published our virtual demo on the website. So this is a virtual demonstration that you can go through. It has 8 parts to it. It'd take you about 28 minutes, I think, to finish from beginning to end. And you can go through each portion of it here. It starts with an introduction video that's about 3 minutes long. And then we take you through the project setup, explanation, onto the field app, the digital chain of custody, and it follows, or it'll track you through every portion of the SampleServe platform virtually. Now it's going to be it's very similar to what you would get if you signed up for a real, a live video demo with either me or Russell. And this is just, you can do this on your own time. All you got to do is hit virtual demo on the webpage and on SampleServe.com, and you can watch it at, you can do half of it now or half of it later, or do any of it, all of it in your own time.
Right.
And at the bottom of it, you can also schedule a live demo as well, anytime you'd like.
So we found that people are, hesitant to schedule a demo with a salesperson, even though I don't consider myself a salesperson.
Yeah.
They're hesitant to just schedule those demos because they're like, oh, it's a pain. They're going to try and sell me on something. So we just decided we're going to create a virtual demo. We'll still do the live demos, don't get me wrong. I actually have one scheduled later today. But this allows people to, you be laying in bed 3 o'clock in the morning and just start your own virtual demo. So, and then we've broken it up in little chunks so that you don't have to sit through the whole thing in one setting. You can just kind of do one chunk a day, or,
Yeah. Or if you're specifically interested in one portion, then you can skip to that portion and read about it. We guarantee you, if you're interested in just the field app, then once you learn about the field app, you're going to be interested in the rest of it, because it's all one platform that really helps every person in the workflow do their job. So I'll put that in the comments. Anybody can go to that and check it out. And I think that's it. We're kind of a little over time today. We like to keep it 20 minutes, so it's 24 minutes. So let's finish it up, Russell.
That's all I got.
That's all I got too. I think we'll share this. We'll keep sharing this out, and make sure you look out for the next one, because we're going to have a special guest, Paul Goodrow, who's been working with SampleServe for a couple of years now. He's an environmental consultant that helps a lot of environmental businesses manage the industry, manage their path through the industry. And
we also have a new board member I think we're going to schedule a meeting with as well. So
we got some exciting guests coming up. We also have some users that are going to be on here too. Happy to talk about their experience. So we got some exciting ones coming up. So keep an eye out, and thank you for joining us. And make sure you leave a like and give a share, and all the things. And have a good Wednesday. Thank you, guys.
All right. Thanks.